Hey everyone, this is Daniel Lee from Melee Science. We're here to talk about some of the summer up-and-comer players that I feel like are overdue for a breakout performance at the largest tournaments of the entire year. And first off, I want to talk about Captain Smuckers from the Tri-State region, who's had a steady rise in the past year. I first took notice of Captain Smuckers at Shine last year when I played him in bracket. His Falcon surprised me as I had a ton of experience in the matchup, yet he managed to defeat me in round 2 pools. He's had a steady rise, but unfortunately at Genesis 4 he finished in 65th, losing to Axe and Silent Spectre. Now losing to Axe is respectable, but losing to Silent Spectre was surprising given my perception of him. However, over the past few months in his region, he has impressed me immensely. He finished first at Splice's Seacrest Smash event, winning multiple sets over Nintendude and MacD, both top 25 level players. And over the course of the year, he's defeated Diskid Boogie, Kirby Kaze, Prince Abu, and Face Roll. Some of these matchups are incredibly difficult for Captain Falcon, yet he managed to win them. He's a solid fundamental Falcon with everything slowly starting to come together. You can see the hard work paying off, and I expect big things from him for the summer majors, most certainly greater than 65th that he did at Genesis 4. I actually wouldn't be surprised if he finished in the top 32 or even top 24 with a good bracket. So expect big things from Captain Smuckers for the summer and the rest of 2017. Now for my next person, this is a little bit weird, but I want to talk about Mike Hayes. And Mike Hayes in my book is already a strong player in the top 25 of my most recent rankings. He doesn't get the recognition that I feel like he deserves, and mainly because maybe he's from SoCal where there's a bunch of other strong flashy players like SUJ, Mango, Lucky, and Westballs. You have the old established pros and veterans like Hugs and MacD that I think he gets overshadowed by the rest of SoCal. And it doesn't really help that he plays Fox, a very common character in the top 20, but nonetheless, he has an impressive resume in the past few months. He's up on Westballs, Swedish Delight, and Nintendude in the head-to-head this year. In my book, he's so consistent, he rarely loses to people significantly worse than him. Maybe he doesn't get the best wins, and maybe that's why he's overshadowed, and maybe that's why he doesn't get any credit. But on the flip side of things, at DreamHack Austin, although he avoided Armada, he still finished in 9th place, taking Chu to Game 5 and defeating Cyrox. I think over the summer, you should no longer be surprised when you see Mike Hayes finishing in 9th, 13th, or 17th because he's already that dang good. The next player I want to talk about is Amsa. No, not the Japanese Yoshi, but the Sheik main from Europe. In prior years, he did take a brief retirement and never really recovered into the top 5 player he once was back in the Pound 4 era. But I think things are starting to shape up for him. Now in Europe, when we think of power rankings, we already know players like Armada, Leffen, Ice, and Professor Pro, and to a loose extent, Triphasia. Now with that being said, Amsa's kind of hovered in that 2nd to 3rd tier of the European players, but I really think he's starting to stand out. He finished 5th at B7 and 4th at HF LAN. He's starting to take a majority of the sets against players like Zagetto, Professor Pro, Triforce, and Android, and unfortunately he never really had a really good US performance in a while. But I think the next time he travels back, I think he's shaping up to have a really good summer. Of course, there are a bunch of other people that have impressed me over the summer, over this past year, that I feel like I can't give recognition to, but there are players out there that are rapidly improving in regions that we would normally not expect. Players like Crush have made the jump in the past year, players like Slox, players that aren't coming from just SoCal, NorCal, or Florida are starting to step it up. So there are a bunch of people improving from all across the world, largely due to the increased competition and to other things like net play. I am truly looking forward to seeing who steps it up the most over the summer, and which regions will have the most bragging rights when everything is said and done. So thank you for listening to who I think will be this summer's up-and-comers. Thank you for listening to this edition of Melee Science. If you want to see more content, go ahead and tune in to esports.yahoo.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel on Yahoo Esports so that you can stay up to date with Melee Science.